Good evening, welcome back to In the Khud. This is November 5, 2022, 7:16 p.m. So I'm late, but I'm gonna obviously keep this documentation session under 5 minutes because, as the title says, yet another bracket sad day. So it's one of those days where I really feel sad. Like sad to the point, you know what is like the saddest thing or the saddest emotion is when you just feel sad but you don't really have a reason to be sad. Like that is like an even bigger reason to be sad because you're sad and you're feeling this emotion which is very powerful and overriding, but you don't quite know the reason for it. It's like almost unasked for. So yeah, I'll just quickly go through the little bit of documentation, and towards the end we'll discuss a little more about this weird feeling and emotion. Woke up at 6:30, took snowy down. Things were fine there. Saw 2 videos of advanced geonodes. Situation is still pretty much the same. I'm watching those videos because it's nice to watch all that complex stuff, but I'm not quite understanding also is like but execution is way off. I mean, if you ask me to recreate that, I have no idea. 14:34, so then after that there was the snap as always, and then 14:34 I'm writing down, been a really sort of shaky day so far. Don't quite know what to do or how to make the best out of the rest of it. Now I put down a few points of what I could do for the day. I could sit and work on a few episodes which I haven't touched since last Sunday, courtesy FTJ, full-time job. My A Mobar script which I was working on yesterday, that's fun to work on. Another 3D project for this week, so our portfolio keeps growing. By the way, now there's a large section for 3D on the website, so I'll just quickly open the website. And here if you go to portfolio, and there is this showcase at the top which was there from the beginning, and I've just added this thing at the bottom. Looks amazing, right? Starting the moving meditation, and if you do all videos, there are 3 more 3D videos. So Magnum ice cream, Oreo biscuit, and the Halloween scene. So this looks amazing, and then the rest of it is just the way it was, which is nice. So this is very important once I do start applying to like studios and places for 3D work, even if freelance basis. If I have to show like what 3D work have you done, here it is on my website, on my portfolio page. Yeah, I could have either done that, or I could write down the scripts for the ITK shots as I had planned. So I could shoot a bunch of these during today's document session itself, or I could just read a book. And I think the reason that I have so many things that I possibly can do on like a holiday is what adds to the overwhelmance and the sadness, is like, because there is no way humanly possible to do all of these. Then I'm right now, journaling does really help in clearing the mind up. So whenever a lot of doubt, like a conundrum of thoughts happening in the mind, just to write things down, it helps you out. Just like a tip right there if you are ever going through this similar sort of situation. We are just under 5 minutes. So then what I actually ended up doing is I did make, if you see over here, there is this toggle short form reels. I searched through all the In the Khud vlogs where I had written small things I've learned, and I put them in here, and inside Blender I've made all these sub toggles for all these videos that can be made. So a ton of videos, like from the small things I've learned, they will be like 10-second, maximum 10-second videos. The real reason I want to do this In the Khud shorts thing is because it will be very useful for me to refer to the things that I've learned along the way making these 3D projects and just learning everything I'm learning. And also it will be valuable for somebody who's searching that particular problem if they're facing it, so that it comes up in search. And it is great because shorts bring in some unknown audience to your channel and stuff like those. A lot of things tied to why this whole thing should work, but as I said, because it is so overwhelming, like just scripting it and putting it down was like a task. So I'm gonna wait maybe a week or so, or maybe 2 weeks, to just take my time with this entire situation of the shorts thing and like take it slowly, because it's getting super overwhelming right now. Awesome references to study. That's what I did. Then the next thing, I was thinking about the 3D project I wanted to do. So there is this reference that I came across. It's by I'm sure their name is here, Ye Mao Z Studios, and it's a very nice like waffle factory kind of situation where the dough is coming in on the conveyor belt here, it's getting pressed in, and it's becoming a flat waffle, and it's coming down here, it's becoming a roasted waffle, if that is how it is. And then it comes down here and cream is put on, and then it's finally being delivered. So of course something like this I like right now I can make this just using plain old polygonal modeling and some drivers here and there, and make it look pretty like this with materials and everything. That can be done, but what I'm interested in is doing this entire system through geometry nodes, because that is what is I'm going to take things to the next level. Like procedurally, I want to be able to determine the count of the doughs that are coming in, and that count is also the count which is going here, and that count is also the count which is going here, right? So that is one continuous system and that's the same thing which is going on. So without like any manual, and again if you see there's a counter here, so that count is also determining the number of waffles or anything left. So it just makes like a very powerful system which without any sort of human intervention, manual intervention, is just working the way it is. With geometry nodes specifically, what I discovered is I'm currently at a point where I have done the beginner's course by Arindel and I quite understood the things that he taught there, but I'm at a point where I do understand the concepts that are verbatim being taught. Like for example, in the Halloween video we make movement around spline loop as far as long as the frames are, and we make that happen. But with that knowledge, if I have to transfer that to something else that I want to do, it is not quite happening the way it should. So if you see, using that technique, I did make a looping animation, like for 200 frames, it is looping continuously the way it should. Is there a glitch? No, it's just looping fine continuously along this mesh line that I made with resample curve, everything. The problem is I want it to be evenly spaced out and not using a random value here for the ID of all these points which are being instanced, and I don't know how to do that. So now is the stage where you just sit and do a lot of trial and error. Firstly, basically try to completely understand what each set of nodes here is doing, and then like trial and error with math nodes and stuff like those, or just go into the add menu and just trial and error kind of thing. It is something I really struggle with. If there's a tutorial or something, they exactly say do this, and that's the result. I'm like, I can flawlessly follow it, which anyone can obviously, right? But then taking the knowledge out of it and just building up your own systems, which is actually important. I'm currently at that phase, and it is all right that I'm certainly not being able to figure out all the things that are coming in my mind. Like obviously making a system like this is a lot of math and a lot of thinking has to go into this, but at least beginning, that's important. Just begin is important. Along the way I will figure out how that can be done. It's a bit uncomfortable, but this is what will get me to a position where the next time I see a system of this sort, I exactly know what nodes to be used, what process to be followed. But initially there's going to be a bit of a friction with the trial and error situation. So I'm under 10 minutes now. With the sadness aspect, I don't really know how to. I was thinking about this metaphor that the emotion of sadness is just like, let's say you are on point A on one side of the river, and on point B is where you want to go on the other side of the river, and the river is actually fire, like aag ka darya sort of situation. So sadness is that emotion where you just have to walk through it and there's no other option. And like in the moment it burns, it's very like not pleasing, but you have to get to the other side of it because life cannot always be like happy, and sadness is just an emotion that the mind experiences. So this is like a metaphor I was thinking about. I don't know if it is useful or adding any context to the situation at hand. That's pretty much how life is. I'm gonna quickly edit this video, go to the gym, and hope that things are better tomorrow onwards, and I'll continue working on this part. Sorry if the energies are too low, because they are too low, and I don't want to fake anything on this. It's a very genuine, authentic documentation of how life is right now. So thank you so much for being the Khud. I'll catch you tomorrow. Peace.